It's important for all of us to get to this place because this is necessary. This cleansing, this forgiveness is necessary and it is healing. All of us, we're human. We've all been there. We've all been through seasons in our lives. We've all been through stuff where people have hurt us beyond reproach. People have hurt us beyond your ability to withstand. Some of the people whom you never thought would hurt you. How many of you, you're a guy and you are dating this girl and your best friend wasses off with the girl whom you love? Destructive. I've heard stories like that. And yes, you let him be. You were trying to forgive him. Forgive him, let them go. They will reap what they have sown. Don't be surprised if you don't hear they have a child who is sick and you hear all kinds of stuff happen to them. Folks, let them go. The universe does it enough already. God has never slept. God doesn't sleep. He's watching over us. And he's watching the very people who are hurting you. God is watching over you, but you need to step right in and say, Lord, I forgive them. Just let it go. Maybe it's someone who caused you to get sick. Maybe you are married or you lived with someone who smoked incessantly. No matter, you love them, you had to live with them, and you begged them not to smoke, and they wouldn't stop smoking. And instead of them getting sick, it's you. Forgive them. My mother is a perfect example. My mother died from lung cancer. It was one of the diseases she had. She never smoked a day in her life, but she was married to someone and lived with someone for over 30 years who was a smoker. Secondhand smoke is real. And when she got sick the first time, it occurred to me that this kind of sickness, the doctor was struggling to explain how she had developed this form of cancer. It was non-hereditary. That means it couldn't happen to any of her descendants. So it wasn't hereditary. She didn't inherit it from anybody. It was an anomaly, was the word he used to describe it. We've never seen this type before. There was hardly a page for it on Wikipedia. This on Wikipedia, when I looked it up, they were still searching. They were still doing research into it. They didn't know how to treat that particular type, so they just applied the usual methodology. And I thought about it and I prayed about it. And I said, Mom, it's interesting that the cancer occurred in the place where only your husband could touch. I said, you need to forgive him and let him go so that you can live. Forgive him for all the years that he cheated and continued to lie to you and cheat. And every time you took him back and every time you tried to restart, he was still cheating. I said, you need to forgive him. She never did. You know what she said? She said, it's foolishness you're talking about. Don't talk to me about that. That's foolishness. I said, Mom, as much as it hurts, please do. She never did. And I warned her. I said, if you don't do it, the cancer will come back. Because you have to get it. Never did. Well, sucks to be me 3 years later. There it was. But you know, the funny thing is, by the time it came 3 years later, I didn't even want to think about losing her. But I lived to see it, what the power of forgiveness could do. So I said to myself, let me make sure that all the people who hurt me, I've forgiven them. And I did. Then I lived to see my mother's daughter, my own sister, cheated, flirted with my boyfriend at my mother's viewing ceremony. How do you deal with that? That one took a while. I kid you not. But when I did forgive her, I called her. I told her I love you and I have forgiven you. And I let it go. The minute I made up in my mind, because I didn't call her immediately when I decided I had to forgive her, because I was angry, the resentment and the anger that she could have done something like that. I could not even talk about it. Lord have mercy. But the day that I chose to forgive her, I felt like something walked out of my belly, like something real. It felt like something left. And that was when I said, I don't need to be a part of this stuff. I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody who is going to cause me that kind of heartache and make me my body sick. I said, I don't need that. To heck with it. And I let it go. I let it go. And that was it. I called her months later. And I actually could hear her on the phone. I knew she felt bad. And I felt sorry for her. I felt sorry for her. I pitied her. I could not believe how bad she felt. Let it go. Forgiveness is powerful. Forgiveness is healing to you. Forgiveness, forgive them anyway, no matter what they have done, no matter what they have contributed to the loss in your life, no matter how much her being with him hurt me, the very thought of it hurt me, that even that he could betray me to do something like that, something that I would have never thought to do to him. But the very thought of it, just because people are just crazy and they get drunk one night and they're smoking and they just feel like they're powerful and they can do whatever they want to do. This is the thing. Whenever people feel like that, they feel like they're powerful, you can watch it. There's going to be a demise. There has to be. There has to be. My friends, let them go anyway. Forgive them. It's not worth it. It's about you. You have to sit back and tell the story and watch them all come down. Watch them all pay for it. Watch them all go through it. That's not why you forgive them. You forgive them because it's healing to you. They may not know that, but you know that. Because oftentimes, some of the deepest, darkest things that people do, they can't even forgive themselves. That was the same sister who years before I had helped her walk through some stuff in her life that she had said she couldn't even think about some of the stuff that she had done. That was the same person. Imagine now she turned around and did something so egregious and so hurtful. But that's her story. She will pay for that. Guess who won't be? Not me. I don't need to be a part of anything that's going to hurt me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your security and your way of life and your feeling about yourself and your body's health is way too important to be attached to anybody's bad feeling. The stuff that people do to us, they do it because they're bad people. They do it to us because they're wicked and because they're cruel. Don't let their wickedness and their cruelty become your illness. That's on them. Let them be the ones who deal with it. You heal your temple and cleanse your temple by forgiving. The minute they do it, find the power to forgive them. Let them go. Let it go. Let them go totally. I promise you, let them go. You want me to walk you through it? I'll help you walk through it. I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to tell you why it's necessary to forgive them. Don't carry it with you. That husband who cheated on you forever and a day, who used you, you felt used and abused. So many women are walking around with this stuff where that man, he cheated and cheated and cheated. Let him go. Prostate cancer is real. If it's not prostate, it's going to be lung. It's going to be liver cancer. It's going to be something that's going to take him out because somehow, somewhere, somebody will pay for it, and it should not be you. Live your life in freedom. Live your life in freedom, free from illnesses. Ladies and gentlemen, and for you men, the same thing happens. Some girl you went to bed with, you trusted her. She told you she was on the pill. I'm just being real. She told you she was on the pill. She told you that she could never get pregnant. But then she comes to you 30 days later telling you she's pregnant. And you're standing there like, I thought you said you were on the pill. You trusted her. And now you are stuck for 18 years to pay child support. That causes all this conflict in your life. So many men end up in jail because they trusted some woman to say she was on the pill, but she was really a baby mama trap. It was a trap. He got into it and then he was trapped. And then now he has 18 years. I still say you should have protected yourself by wearing a condom, but Sucks to be you because you didn't do the extra layer of protection. So now here you are, 18 years, you're stuck, and you have to deal with this. And you meet someone new, and it's always this baby mama drama that just drives you crazy. Some of these men are so angry because of it. Women and men, we put ourselves and entangle ourselves in these webs. Forgive them anyhow. Let it go. Forgive them. And make sure it doesn't happen again. The thing with this is that once that person has hurt you and they have demonstrated that they have the capacity to do bad things, don't give them a second chance. Don't give them a second chance. You forgive them. Forgiveness does not mean that you have to hang out with them. Forgiveness does not mean that you have to go with them. Forgiveness does not mean they're your best friend forever. Forgiveness means I have forgiven you for this instant that you have hurt me. But it doesn't mean I have to talk to you. It doesn't mean I have to see you. In fact, I suggest that you be cautious around them. It would be silly of you to go back into a relationship with them, knowing that they have the capacity to do you grievous harm again and again. Leave them alone. Let them be. God will always send a witness to back up his story. Amen. Amen. Forgive them. Forgiveness is powerful. Forgiveness allows you to live free. Forgiveness allows you to see that there is something. It could just be you who you're listening to me and you're like, Harry, you don't even know my story. I spent the last 20 years in jail because they lied on me. Because it was a cop, some police officer, a prosecutor lied on me, and I had to go to jail and to rest up my life. Still forgive him or her. Don't think that and you're looking at them and you're like, but they still work. They had a chance to live out their lives, and they lived and they have a wife and they had all the things that I couldn't enjoy. Forgive them still. You think they're better than you? No, they're not. It just looks that way. Because when it hits, it has a way of being a sudden destruction, like boom, and it's just down, 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 down like that. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most, they just look like they just carry on. They look like they just carry on and they just live and they live gloriously. And they even have the nerve to look at you and smile like, I have something over you. Look what I did to you. That was my sister. Look what I did to you. Oh, look at her. And I'm sitting there looking at her like, you don't even know what's coming down the pike. I'm like, that's what you think? That's your best? Okay. Have it. Because they don't have a clue what's going to come. Forgive them anyway. It doesn't matter. What matters is your healing and your mental health. Forgiveness frees your mind so much that you can understand so much more about your own health and your own emotions. Forgiveness is freeing and empowering, man, because it makes you want to help someone. This is the thing with people. One of the things you're going to learn about people, somebody who hurts you viciously like that, don't have anything more to do with them. Forgive them. You don't even have to tell them you're forgiven them. But you can still forgive them, but don't befriend them. Don't get back in their circle. Don't get back in their stuff and in their situation. Right? Don't get back in their stuff. Thanks everybody for listening. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm not missing out your comments. I'm just watching. Right? Somebody, are you asking me questions? Right? Because here's the thing. If we don't forgive someone, how are we going to be free? Right? You have to be free. There's so many things that could happen to us. Lord, I feel it coming. There's so many things. You've got to get free. You've got to be free of this stuff. I'm just going to stop right there. You've got to be free of this stuff. You got to get free. Let it go. That sickness and disease, don't let it come near your door. Let it go. I don't care what it is. It could be somebody who took a job from you. Let them go. Let them have it. Let them have it. It could be, you could have been playing football in high school and they hurt you by making you slip and slide down the stairs. I've told you the story about a young man who was a wrestling champion in his high school. And on his way to getting a scholarship to go to college, he said his family couldn't afford to send him to college. And he was desperate to go to college. And his opponent executed a maneuver that was illegal according to the rules of the wrestling championship that they were in. And his opponent caused him to be hurt. The first thing he lost the next day while he laid up in hospital was his scholarship to go to college. He fell into a depression. He couldn't even finish high school. He fell into a depression that took him 6 months later. They had to call EMS. He attempted to kill himself because he could not come to grips with the situation. Everybody else graduated from high school and went on to college. And there he was, as a result of someone's jealousy, there he was. And he learned to forgive. He said when they came to pick him up, to take him to the hospital, he connected with an agency. And when they told him and walked him through to get him back to never hurting himself again, he learned how to forgive that person. He's probably better off today because he's a national speaker going around and telling his story. I kid you not. Yes, he is. Young man, beautiful person. You can literally just feel the love coming off him. You know, one of the things I discovered about forgiveness is how much I have the capacity to love even the people who hurt me. They don't have to know that. But my love for myself is so great, and my love is so great that I make peace with what they have done. And that's what you need to do. That's what that young man did. He came to peace. So you're on here worrying about hating on men. Men and women have hurt each other. So let's balance it out. This is not what this is about. This is not what this forum is about. This is about the power of forgiveness. And I forgive you even for saying that. Right? The extent to which people have been hurt. We hurt people by our words. We hurt people by our actions. What about the people who have children and don't take care of them? What do you think happens to those children? Those children grow up to be adults. What happens to them? Do they forgive the parent who left? Have they forgiven them? If you are that child, forgive them. I'm going to tell you what my father told me when I turned 25. He said, you have two choices. We can't go back in the past, but you can either stay in the past and be angry and miserable, or live in the present and we have a relationship, a glorious relationship. I chose the latter. Yeah. We had a good relationship after that. He was kind of like an okay kind of guy, like a guy you could talk to, like, hey, how you doing? Kind of guy. Like, what's up? What are we going to talk about? That was how he was. Right? Forgive them anyhow. Forgive the person who promised they would be there for you. You might have been roommates in college and you found out that your own roommate took your study stuff and passed the test and there you are. Oh my God. The stuff that people say. Recently, I heard the story of one young lady who hit hard times, and while she was in college, and she and her friends, she thought they were her friends, and when she hit hard times, it was their final year. Nobody wanted to help her and take her in, so she couldn't finish her final year. But yet they were all friends together, and they all gathered and laughed and made fun of her predicament. But she made it out and graduated just like that, much to their chagrin. And I just wondered if I wanted to be in the room to see the looks on their faces when she marched along with them and gathered. Don't you just want to see? Forgiveness is empowering. Forgive those who hurt you. Forgive the mother who was an alcoholic and who was drunk half the time you were growing up. Forgive the father who through his alcoholism beat you up and taught you how to have your first drink. I know you're an alcoholic. Forgive him. Forgive the mother who had sex with her boyfriends and you had to beat up the boyfriend and now you end up serving time and ruined your life because you were defending her. Forgive. Oh Lord, that one touched me. I know that story. My God. My God. Forgive them anyhow. Forgive the teacher who hated you and despised you and told everyone else how to get into college but didn't tell you and you found out too late. Forgive them anyhow. Forgive them. Every little thing. Get your paper. Write a list. Every name. Write it out. You'd be surprised what you have not forgotten. It's there, resident in your memory, because you're still carrying it with some resentment and anger with it. The coach who didn't coach you properly. You could have made national. You could have gone pro, but the coach didn't do it. Write his name out on that piece of paper, and you're going to forgive them. It's going to take time because some of it you're like, man, I don't even want to think about this. I don't even want to go there. I can't even begin to imagine this stuff. Lord, I don't even, what are you talking about, lady? You don't even know what you, write it down. I'm telling you my story so that you can see that there is power in forgiveness. I'm telling you so you know that it is possible and that it can happen. So don't get offended. That's what happened to me, right? I'm telling you so you know. Ladies, we got to let it go. Gentlemen, we got to let it go. Forgive the woman who walked out on you. She said she loved you, but she still left because she couldn't stop cheating. Forgive her anyhow. Forgive the boss who fired you for no other reason than he felt jealous that you were gonna take his place. And that set you back. The stuff we go through. Lord have mercy. Forgive the person who wouldn't hire you because of the color of your skin. Forgive them. Forgive the company who let you go under pressure from advertisers. Under pressure. You were speaking the truth and they fired you. And you didn't have a support system. And now here you are. You can't get back into the mainstream. Forgive them. Forgive them. You might just live to see all of them dying and you're still here. That's your victory. Victory doesn't always come the way we want it. I had imagined my victory would have come a different way. Didn't come the way I wanted. But you know, the best way was through my health. That was the best way. Forgive them. Amen. So I'm challenging you as we close. I'm challenging you to do this. That sheet of paper, that note that you have in your phone, that you are writing down the names of the folks and every incident, because it's there in your memory as far back as you can remember. Right? I want you to take that out and I want you to look at everything. I don't want you to reenact the trauma surrounding the event. But when you look at it and you remember, it's going to come back to your memory, the sights and the sounds. Trust yourself that when it comes back, it doesn't have the power to hurt anymore. That's the power of forgiveness. When you forgive that person, what you're doing is releasing the power of that hurt. That thing that hurt you, you're releasing it. You're letting it go. And practice from now on. When someone hurts you, the first thing you do, even while you're looking at them, you know they're delivering words that hurt you. The first thing you're doing is practicing forgiving them right away. So that list, go through it and forgive each and every one of them. You're going to find that it feels like a weight has been lifted off and you're going to feel empty. That's good. You want to feel empty because now you have released the hormones and you've released your cells to be normal again, to just relax. You got to get from this anger and resentment to being able to relax. Most of us, if you struggle with relaxing, it's too much stuff. Too much stuff in your kettle, just bubbling over. Too much stuff. It's time to empty it out. It's like all sorts of stuff. It just needs to come out of you. And once you're empty, now fill that place back up with love and healing. And now start practicing saying healing thoughts and explain why. Explain it to yourself. And while you're doing that, forgive yourself. Can we do that? Just forgive yourself for being in that place. Forgive yourself. Can you? Forgive yourself for feeling powerless. Forgive yourself for feeling hurt. Forgive yourself for allowing that situation to make you feel as if they had more power and more control over you. Forgive yourself. And once you've done that, release it. Burn it up, shred the paper, and while you're shredding it and burning, it's an act, it's a physical act of executing the forgiveness and everything associated with it. Say these words: I forgive Mary, Tom, Dick, Harry, Jack, Sally, whoever, for, state the reason, and now I give you peace. This situation, say those words, no longer has any power over me. And that's it. This situation no longer has any power to stymie my growth, no power to hurt me ever anymore. This situation is finished. It is done. The power that it had to hurt, the power that it had to destroy, it's done. I call it done. It's over. It's finished. I'm done with it. And it is done because now I have gotten my power back. Now I have gotten authority over it back. And now I am healed. And it is done. Such is the power of forgiveness. Such is the power to forgive. Such is the power that we have resident inside of us that we need to tap into. Lay your hands on wherever is hurting you right now. Wherever they told you that you're sick, if it's your head or your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your blood, whatever they have told you that is, lay your hands on yourself and say, I forgive those who have hurt me. They no longer have the power to destroy me. This situation is done. And in your mind, you're picturing what it did. Let it go. Let it go. Come on, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it all come out. There it is. Let it all come out. Let it go. And in that moment, you have forgiven them. In that moment, it is done. For more information, join me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. This is Harriet Kamek with Now